I'm Kerry Peters, a recognized thought leader in the Microsoft Dynamics community and a Microsoft MVP for business applications. Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. Keep listening to learn how we work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers that they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better business decisions, and even love their system. In this episode of the Get Your New View podcast, we're going to talk about the phase 2 project of fixing bad data. So why do companies put off fixing bad data until phase 2? Really, the only reason for this is they didn't have time to do it before they went live. Most companies who fix bad data successfully have someone who's a clean data champion internally. And this is something that, if it's successful, happens prior to the go live. And honestly, most partners are just not going to accept responsibility for dirty data. So if somebody in your company doesn't clean that up and provide clean data to the partner for your go live, those partners are going to encourage you to clean the data up, but they will put whatever they're given into the system, because data cleanup, data cleansing is often not included in the budget for the project. So it is somewhat difficult, however, to put this into place after go live, depending on the nature of the bad data. There are different degrees of that. So a lot of companies really don't understand that certain bad data can be really difficult to correct. I would say that the top 4 things that are difficult to correct, but not impossible, with Business Central are having a wrong base unit of measure on your inventory, having a wrong inventory costing method, having wrong or incorrectly mapped posting groups, and also assigning wrong dimensions. All of these have pretty far-reaching problems when they happen, and they're all avoidable with proper time spent prior to the go live. So it can make it time-consuming to fix after the go live once you're using your system. So really, why do we want to have clean data before go live? Or if we didn't and we have bad data in our system, why do we want to have clean data after? And why would it be worth it to do this as a phase 2 project? The first thing really is simple, just having correct data, knowing that the information in the system can be trusted and that it's always going to look good to our customers when they're looking at documents where that appears, and helping our teams not to make mistakes because of bad data. Duplicate records is another type of bad data that's very common, can be confusing. If we've got a duplicate record that looks really the same, we could have different people in different areas processing orders against that duplicate record and really building history in 2 different places, and it should be in one place. If we have bad data where there's the wrong thing attached to it, think of ship-to addresses that could affect where the product goes. So we may have a higher rate of returns. We may have dissatisfied customers. So that's another example. I mentioned earlier posting groups and dimensions. This is going to affect the accuracy of your posting. And we can spend a lot of time reviewing data in order to find those errors and then correcting that before that bad data goes into our financial reporting. And of course, that's the last thing that we want, is we don't want our financial reporting to be reflecting wrong information. And the last thing really is missing data. So missing data, where data is just incomplete, can just make things not work. And a simple example, emails. If we don't have email addresses on our customer records or on our vendor records, when we process those documents and try to take advantage of the automation that comes with Business Central, it might not work simply because that email address is missing or incorrect. A more advanced example, let's talk about MRP. So if we're doing all kinds of planning to take advantage of the automation for reordering things and purchasing things, and if those fields are not filled out correctly, then guess what? We're in the situation of nobody trusts the data. And so therefore people don't use all of those features that could give us automation and efficiency. And that really comes down to missing or incorrect data. So you can see that's quite a few examples of different things that could be affected by having wrong or incorrect or missing data. I guess the other thing that I would say about thinking about the benefit of cleaning up data to your company is think about all of the error messages that occur and how much time it might take to troubleshoot those errors. You may have increased IT tickets going to your IT group to help in figuring out what those errors are. You may just have increased time with people trying to figure out not only what the error is, but how to fix it. And delays can happen. Think about your posting processes at the end of the day. If you have batch posting that happens, what happens when that's continually delayed with errors? It may keep other things from posting. And in particular, it might keep invoices from going out. And that's going to eventually affect your cash flow. So anytime that you have an error that causes something to be missing, that certainly is going to cost time in troubleshooting and in finding out what other things didn't happen because of that error. So as you think about how to be prepared to start with a project like fixing bad data for your company, think about a couple of things. Where is the trouble today? What is it that you know is happening? And if you really don't know, then start keeping a log or a list of what type of errors you're getting, and even review how much time is associated with troubleshooting those errors, and record how many of those were because of bad data. This is a great way to do a little bit of detective work that every error, there's a source for that. It's just not something to be solved many times, right? We don't want to have 10 of the same error happening and fixing it and fixing it and fixing it and then never fixing the base problem, right? We want to fix the base problem. So if we record what those errors are and talk about the steps that we spent on troubleshooting, you're really going to get a hit list this way of what those errors are. And a lot of those are going to go back to bad data. So now you have a good list of what could be fixed to start eliminating those errors. The goal here is 0 errors, and that is attainable. We absolutely can have 0 errors in our system when we have it configured correctly, and more importantly, when we have good data in the system. The last thing to think about to prepare for a project like this is think about what you want your data standards to be. Business Central has quite a few required fields that we need to fill out with basic information, but honestly, it's not a whole lot of fields. For the most part, you and your company need to decide exactly what you want your data standards to be. What is considered a complete record? What is considered a correct record? And sitting down and looking at some of those places where we store data, our master records like customers and vendors and items, those are good places to spend some time and figure out which fields need to be filled out and how do they need to be filled out and what conventions are we going to use to fill them out to be considered complete and correct and know that we're not generating errors on down the line. NewView can make this an easy project for you to tackle as well. We've been there and we've done that when it comes to bad data. We see it all the time. If you're not up to the type of preparation steps that I just talked about, we can help. We can evaluate your data. We can absolutely evaluate the nature of the errors and the troubleshooting that you're doing, and we can come up with a plan for you for bad data repair. If this is something that sounds interesting to you as a phase 2 project for your company, contact us today. It's super easy. Just send a quick email to info@getyournewview.com. And we'll set up a quick 30-minute call to talk about how you can get phase 2 projects like this done at your company. Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies work with frustrated Business Central and NAV users who struggle to use their system and find the answers they need. We teach them to truly understand how the system can support their business processes to make immediate and lasting improvements. As a result, they get more done in less time, make better decisions, and even love their system. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.